So I have a moment to explain what happened when I filmed this affair with the she-male. I was sitting on the couch like I am right now. I was extremely tired. It was like the weirdest, like, fatigue. Because normally I'm not that tired like that. It was like dizzy, inability to focus. It was almost like a hunter's premeditation tactic or technique. Because I know how I feel like on the couch when I fall asleep. Usually I like hear the TV, I hear the conversation, and I'm able to wake up and hop into the conversation. That's how I am when I'm fatigued. So sitting here on the couch, next to me is the she-male, and then across is my ex-husband. And there's this discussion about, like, dressing and sauces. Mind you, I'm, like, fighting really hard through this fatigue because my body knows when it's, like, naturally tired, and my body knows when it's, like, forced to be just, I don't know. And because we're not going through, the atomic bomb, the nuclear bomb, and into birth again, people are starting to learn how to do tricks, and it's unhealthy tricks. And for a lot of us that are really trying to keep it straight and narrow, we're getting affected really bad, and it's not like the greatest thing ever. Especially for a mind like me, who's always in constant meditation, active or dormant, and dormant means sleeping. It's horrible. So what ended up happening this night was I was extremely exhausted, but I was fighting so much that I managed to turn on my phone and capture it. And there was just like this, it was like a strong push to get breakthrough. And I know I had started my Dianetics, like as soon as I moved in, I went straight to Kiss from a Rose. And on that Dianetics, I have to be on it for a complete straight 72 hours in order for it to work completely. And it's kind of tough because the Dianetics is so heartbreaking that you have to break through the alter ego bubbles. Like, it's the little bubbles of fantasies. And it's the toughest thing to do as far as time-wise go for me, because I can't do it straight 72 hours. But I somehow managed to do enough of it and fast enough that I could do it, be able to go through it. So mind you, like from like December 19, 2015 all the way up to December 21st, 2015, that's usually my time frame where I can listen to it almost 72 hours straight. Because what am I doing? Number one, I'm unpacking. Number two, I'm fighting through the negativity that's in the house, and then also fighting through the past haunting the present. Because remember, we're still going through this, so we're recycling through. So you have to be like on a higher IQ level to understand what's going on. You can't just be on a Jimmy Carter level. Sorry, Jimmy. But it's the honest to God truth. When you're a vamp, being a vampire, I have to go through all this, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, it gives you guys little windows of opportunities for those politicians to understand what's going on. That we're not going through the H-bomb, and that we're not going through the birth again. Like, everybody has to go through this complete natural cycle. We can't just keep recycling through and refiling through this whole shit. But if you guys want to do it, just know that you're going to keep making the same mistakes. So anyways, continuing on with this horror of a night. My battery's low. So, how did I end up? Oh, this push. I was extremely exhausted, like a weird exhaustion. Like I said, I had the camera running. I had it on with the sexual activity that was going on. And before this man could fucking get to this fucking condiment that was in my fridge because I am not a salad eater. I'm anti-salad eater because I know exactly what kind of bacteria grows on this fucking piece of fucking produce, okay? If you want to talk about getting, like, upset about this piece of shit in my house, oh no, it was a bottle of French dressing with barbecue sauce. Like, I don't know what the hell you guys are doing to hide a yeast infection, but do me a favor, don't ruin food with it. And don't ruin anything with it. But I managed to grab it, and I just freaking handed it to this person, and I caught it on camera. So this person spent the night in my house, and mind you, I slept by myself in bed. I was already done. A lot of you politicians that are arguing and saying that I was already done December 19th, you're right. But I have to have probable cause because you guys can't get rid of Judge Kavanaugh. Okay? You can't get rid of your alumni scholar. And that kind of sucks because you can, because there's something that did take place back in 2012. Okay, back in 2012. And I know this because I was at Eastern University trying to get information about their philosophy program as far as obtaining, I think it was like a PhD, because I had the master's degree going on. So I was obtaining information. I just happened to read the article. So yes, there is something you guys can do. But if you want to continue fighting this like the right way, which is complete avoidance, which is a psychological correction, then you can do it. But to be honest with you, if you guys want to break this vicious cycle, you have to be vicious back. And it sucks. It sucks because you take a lot of beatings. You go through a lot of Dieter, D-E-T-E-R, Dieter, and you end up having to go through a lot of corrections, self-corrections. And it's not a bad thing if you're constantly doing it all the time like I do. But like this night, it really just capped it really bad. And I think that's where I went downhill completely. Because it was just like, because like when you have an affair, you have this little fantasy bubble of how you want it to go. Well, if the person is catching you doing it, it's an automatic ego high, especially for a she-male. Oh my God, like, talk about like a complete downward slide. Because I already knew like I was going to get my job at KFC, right? Okay, because I have a Luca Brasi. I have several Luca Brasis, and that's what the name of the game is in order to get back into Michigan, or actually into your home state. So if you get a letter from Texas, that means you're not supposed to be in there. Anybody that belongs in Texas that doesn't get a letter, that means you have enough Luca Brasis to get back into your home state. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. And trust me, I get one, and it doesn't hurt me. Like, I want to go visit Texas. As much as I want to see the Alamo, I'm not going to go in there. I mean, what would break my heart is if I got a letter from Louisiana, because I so would want to visit there, because I bet you any money, like, if I went into the state and lived there, these bags and this complexion would, like, brighten up to the flushiest pink ever. And I probably had like the most air to my nose and humidity and moisture. But it ain't gonna happen because there's just too much going on here that I have to fix in Michigan. And it's not a big deal. It's just that y'all are still stuck in your ways. And that's not how it should be. And this is one of these nights that proves it. That nobody's listening and nobody's doing anything because y'all are still in the belief of Burma hands. Okay? And you guys shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that at all. You should actually be getting rid of this sickness. And being that the superhuman creature that I am, I'm able to see it right on. And I can tell when I'm at the stores, at the clothing stores. I really can. And we do get a different group of clientele that comes in. You don't want those type of people shopping into clothes, especially when we're shutting down fitting rooms and things like that to prevent actually theft. So when COVID-19 hits, it's an actual boost of confidence for managers to say that there is no theft going on in the store. It's in all the clothing retail stores. And it's a big issue because we have to sign off a lot of things. Now I've digressed just a little bit. So I'm gonna retrace my steps backwards and in speech and go back to what I was talking about. So this night really did a number on me that just went downhill. Caught it on camera, put it up on YouTube, because like I said, there's a particular type of girl that I have to walk into, because there's another person that goes through the same thing like I do, because I'm constantly being told that this never happens, which is a crock of shit. And that's because of Donald Trump. Okay? So when we had Barack Obama and we had Joe Biden as VP, a lot of people were talking about all the different scenarios of situations people were going through. And we had the ability to share and have conversations about difficult, heartbreaking situations. And what became a problem is that Donald Trump is like saying that this doesn't exist. Well, his head's up in the clouds so far is probably up God's ass. I'm sorry, but it's the honest to God truth now at this point. Because I don't know how many times we have to go through this to explain to Donald Trump that you don't make these fucking mistakes. This is exactly why Joe Biden won. Joe Biden won because he knew that we were going around in circles. I mean, I don't know how many times we got to keep going through this. That's why we keep asking, please, everybody push out to 2024, because he has the solution. All right, and there is the ultimate solution. So anyway, so what happened this night really ruined it, because I remember afterwards, the next morning, it was like cold shoulder, not talking. Found out that he shoved like Q-tips up his bum, and I was just like, oh my god. Oh my god. I'm researching naked sushi models. I was so exhausted from it all. I think I just fell asleep. I think I fell asleep really hard, and I didn't wake up. So it was enough to forget, and I think I fell asleep to one of my songs too. So it was possible I got the emotions afterwards got erased. But then after that, it became like he needed to sleep with more people. And it was like, I don't want to. And there's a certain, it's just, to say no, it ends up being like a growth molestation bedroom with him. It is. It's the grossest thing ever. It's the grossest thing ever when you have to tell somebody sick with homosexuality in an unhealthy manner, no. Because you're forced to do things that you don't want to do. Like, I wasn't in the mood to have sex for the first 6 months because I have so much going on, and my bills are piling up at this point. Because when we go back through this, y'all don't end up with the same bills you left off with. You all end up with the bills that you started with. Okay, and whatever bills you create midway, you have to figure out how to make up for it in 4 years. And it's not like the easiest thing to do. Okay, and there's a lot of politicians behind these 4 years trying to, if they see that you can pay it, they'll probably bring it back, which is not a big deal. Not a big deal. In the state of Michigan, though, there's a lot of things you can't do. Okay, there's a lot of things you can't do, and you have to pay attention. And there was a lot said to my ex-husband about this, like, you can't do certain shit. Does he listen? No. No, but he'll read Democratic books. So hopefully we're gonna get on like a house on fire. So. And it's tough for me to find a lawyer to understand why I went and did what I did. You know, first you have to have probable cause, evidence supporting what you're claiming, and I did that. And then it was like, well, technically it's against the law because you didn't get permission. Fuck you. excuse me, that's an affair happening right next to me. And I recorded everything up to it, and then everything after it. No, I didn't approve of it. So that to me tells me that's Donald Trump and Judge Kavanaugh creating a law to protect an asshole. Okay. And there should be no reason for that. None at all. Because that's not a Joe Biden thing. That's not a Joe Biden thing at all.
I've just find 30 something hours.
I mean, that's a complete bad affair that took place next to me, and I was against it from the get-go. Because I knew, number one, by his teeth, he wasn't healthy, and number two, it smelled really bad. Usually when you have a yeast infection, it reeks, and on a female, it reeks even more. Most humans can't smell it. I can. Because I went and did that window of opportunity stuff. Okay, just to break up the little bubbles that Donald Trump was creating for all of us. You have to break it immediately. Everybody in the country has to break it immediately. If you don't break it, and you find somebody that still has that bubble, you're more than likely to get in trouble with the law. For whatever reason, it happens that way. It happens that way. And that's because there was something we couldn't do to prevent it. Remember, we've been through this lots of times before this whole freaking circle started. So, but yeah, that's what happened that night. And, every Dianetics that I've been through can't prevent that type of just downward hill slope. Because it just went downward hill. It was almost like a give up. And that's not what I want to hear. What I want to hear is continue moving forward and don't spend money. Don't give in. It'll work out. It'll work out to the point where I'll be at the end where the goal is supposed to be. 2 weeks later, it was we've got issues. And it's what issues? What issues? Because when you talk to a therapist about marital issues, you have to make sense about it. That's what I was told. Remember, I'm 19 years old. I'm being locked up for 30 days in a mental, program for depression. I'm not going to ask questions to avoid all this stuff. Okay? I don't understand. But to be honest with you, number one, I'm not going to support a man that can't pull his own fucking weight. If I can pull my own weight, then he can pull his own weight. Because there's a whole shitload of people in his age group pulling their own weight. I don't need to be told I gotta take care of his age. Don't. Because that's not what the agreement was when we got married. Which I know that's his family. Well, I didn't agree to that at all. I didn't agree to that at all because I have student loans to pay. That's fine. But unfortunately, the government has made it so insecure possible that people don't trust where their money is going. And I'm one of those people. If I'm paying into my student loans, are you paying it back to the university? Or are you guys tapping the account and then spending it where it's not supposed to be? For instance, the Washington, D.C. protest. Everybody knows it was set up by Donald Trump. That was a complete setup. You know how I know? Because I worked at KFC. There's somebody that talks about it and brags about it. When we're in political mode, which is a coin phrase I've made, because it goes against another politician that shouldn't be practicing political. But in Michigan, when we say it, it means something different. This person seriously has no filter, completely brags about it. Okay. Plus, we also know that when Donald Trump doesn't win, Donald Trump will do everything to make it known that he's not happy, and that everybody should cater to him. Okay. Once again, 64 million people times 600 times 52 on an inaccurate census. Enough said.
I think we're gonna get going
Enough
now,
said.
and yes, we can have more
That should be
drinks.
like a clear red flag, like don't do it. No, but we still go through 2 protests. We still go through shutting down the Capitol. We still go through shutting down the country. We still go through all that. Why? Why? When we first did it as states, we were trying to tell the federal government that we didn't have jobs. Now it's like, well, it's because of COVID-19. How do you know that's not set up? You know why I say that? Because we're still buying masks from China. You notice that? Made in Mexico and made in China. And the one box I grabbed it and this occurred, seriously pissed me off. Because it happened like that.
Once I talk to them, I can show you where everything is. So if I say to
That's why I said it's a complete setup on his part.
do that, yeah. Sorry, I probably don't sound very
Okay? And if you have that much faith in Joe Biden that he's being honest and truthful about everything, good for you. Good for you. Me, I'm a Republican. I have to watch what I say. I have to. It's not the greatest thing ever, but I have to. Because unfortunately, my student loans are tied to Donald Trump. And here's the other problem. Because I work with a company that does fucking do soirees with these big-time politicians, do know for a fact that these people will ruin your fucking lives. Because if you try to report them, try to say something about their BBB practices, you become the idiot. But yet, everybody has their first year business college books. I have my master's degree college books on business because part of IT's job is to understand the business mind of a company. Because in a project, if they can't fulfill 72 hours in completing it within the first 3 days of the project, they get cut from the budget. Yep. So it's a bigger beast than what it is. It really is. At this level, though, at this spending level, by you not spending that much and putting it towards a government bill like I have, it quiets those type of politicians. You don't want to get involved with them anyways. They're so stupid. One of the things that we were told, like, why do you want to become a politician and have to go the heartache and the grief? Like, if you're in a good state and you like your politician, then good. If you're not, then figure out a way to move out by 18. Go to a college out of state and be part of that population. That's when you guys can actually try to fit in. But considering the fact that we have the census issue going on, just trust me, just because it stopped doesn't mean it's not an ongoing conversation, and doesn't mean it's not going to fucking repeat again. Even if we did go through death and into birth, it's still going to happen again because he's not one to learn from his mistakes. So, and trust me, we are going to go through it again. And it's not because of me. Oh, no. Let's make that correction. It's not because of me.
Oh my god, there's that much.
It's not because of me.
What the hell?
Way too many mistakes.
Hurricane going through
Way
here.
too many mistakes at every single level.
Dirty clothes everywhere. I'm guessing maybe no one knew what they were
Way
doing
too many
before
mistakes.
me.
Way too many misunderstandings. Way too many people getting upset and stuff. Like I said, the more you correct yourself, okay, and stop being selfish, the better we're going to end up being in the end. So what does that mean for Trump? Should he have to correct himself? That means him correcting everything everything in his administration. Because it was a complete failure. And I'm not getting into about how I know it was a complete failure. You either
Gosh,
followed
you
me on
didn't do that.
YouTube or you
I've just
didn't.
given
Or you
Elizabeth
followed me on
two
Twitter
strikes,
or you
and now
didn't.
she's not following
Fake
through and
businesses?
doing what
Oh
I'm
my
telling her
god.
to do. Why is she palming off this stuff? Like,
Oh
where
my
is she?
god.
What is she
Completely
doing?
fake.
I'm gonna sort it
No,
all
we're
out.
talking like
How
fake
much longer
fake.
do you need? Give me like
Fake
half an
fake.
hour.
Then
Okay,
we
cool.
have like
Take it easy.
sexuality,
I'll be down here.
sickness
You're
issues
amazing.
going on.
Okay, I see you
And I ended up being a part of it.
Knock it up while it
Like being the
lasts.
victim of
What
it.
time are we planning to do dinner?
No.
Maybe if you want to do 8. Take a long time to do sushi.
Mental health,
Well, I also
the
need to
mental
see
health
what time
sector is
that,
not
naked
safe anymore.
girl is
So
coming.
if you end up having to be forced in it, find a way to get out of it.
This is for your parents.
Nobody's doing anything
They're
right
like,
anymore.
we paid
And
money,
that's
we need to see
sad.
what's going on.
And that's completely sad. So unfortunately, when we go through this again, I may have to endure this freaking night one more time, and it's going to be twice as a burden, because there's nobody there to stop it. Nobody there to stop it, because nobody's going to remember anything but the very few. And it kind of sucks. In all honesty, it sucks. But this night was horrible. It was completely horrible. It was bad enough I was experiencing half the shit I was experiencing. All the phone calls about, well, is this person going to do this again? Is this person going to show up? Is this person going to show up? Because why? Why?
I'm not a pushover.
Why?
If someone's gonna disrespect me, I'm gonna stand up for myself.
What? Why do we need to do that? Why can't it just be a clear, like, just clear days?
5 minutes late when it started raining.
Clear days of
If you
thought.
can't take a little bit of a joke, then you should probably get on a different crew.
Well, I mean, I saw it coming in.
Because it was really
It was
bad
pretty-
the first, like,
it was
2
already raining
weeks.
at that point. It had been raining
You
at
want
that
to talk about
point. I do
dizziness,
sarcasm
inability to
because
think,
I didn't want
like,
to hurt your feelings. If you don't like sarcasm,
just a
why
hard
don't you
time to
straight up
focus and to
be more
push
attentive,
through.
pay more attention to the weather. Okay.
It
Or
was
sarcasm,
bad.
or do you prefer straight up?
I don't want sarcasm.
It was
okay? I
bad.
want you to be straight up.
Okay, straight up.
I'm gonna
It
be
was
straight up with
bad.
you too.
Well, you can be straight up
was
to a
bad.
point, but you also got to listen to my direction.
But that's because all you
okay.
guys started to make phone
Yeah,
calls and
thank you.
stuff.
Shane's
Shouldn't be
very
doing that.
new, he's got a lot
That's
to
like the
learn.
lowest
He's learning
level.
to shut
Then we get the
up.
politicians that acting stupid and stuff.
Francesca.
And these letters couldn't come in like any freaking later than they should have. They should be coming in like as soon as December 19th, 2015
I've got to go pick
hits.
up that model. Shane,
But you guys won't figure it out until like 6 months later. It's like, okay.
I'm gonna get changed into my blacks.
Okay, so much for that block. And y'all know what letters I'm talking about. Because I got them too.
you're ready.
So you have to pick and choose whether or not you believe it or you don't.
Is that in here? Yeah.
If you want to go against it.
When do you guys do our lines, please?
But don't go against it.
Stern
It's just gonna hurt you.
Stern lines in.
And just because you don't get a letter from the state doesn't necessarily mean you're welcome. If you have your birth certificate and you know you were born and you went to school, you went to high school, you went to grade school, you went to college in the state, yes, you are welcome back, but don't be a bumping along.
I'm gonna be annoying. We have
Don't
days
be a
we have
bumping
days.
along. Bumping along means like don't act like
Okay.
you're entitled to something. Okay? Yes, you are entitled to unemployment. Yes, you are entitled to apply for a job. But don't sit there and think that like the politicians of the state are gonna find you that job or give it to you. No, you have to go out and get it.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
You have to go out and get it. Don't be spoiled.
Who am I throwing it to?
Don't be spoiled.
Just throw it to somebody. Hey, do it again.
But yeah,
I can't grab it.
that's exactly how that night went. And like I said, I didn't feel comfortable sleeping. I didn't feel comfortable at all. Kid probably stole
Use the
something.
anchor. So hook it.
And
Let me know when to hoist up.
Hoist up.
Hoisting up.
Wait. Down.
We could rudder off.
more than likely my
put a hole inside
ex-husband
the boat. There's a lot of bad
had a
things
love
that could
letter
happen.
from him.
Down.
Did it get stuck in the props? It's tied underneath,
It sucks.
so like you can't get it
Kinda
because
sucks.
it's floating in the water.
Get it?
No.
Get out of the way.
Well,
Not good, dude.
oh well.